Well, it's been 9 years since Alexander Litvinenko wasted away on a hospital bed, dying after being poisoned with a rare radioactive isotope. Now, on his deathbed, the agent blamed Vladimir Putin, calling him barbaric and ruthless. The Kremlin has refused to extradite the men, and the Russian dictator claims over and over again he had nothing to do with it. Now, a British judge has reordered the case, seeking to get to the bottom of this case once and for all. James Bond is not available to comment, so we turn to our own John Bachman, who has more on this story. John?
Yeah, Steve, all the trappings here of an Ian Fleming spy novel, James Bond, the list goes on. Well, today in London, we saw the second day of this public inquiry into the death of Alexander Litvinenko. It's kind of a murder trial, something like that. Yesterday, we heard Vladimir Putin, at least the lawyers for Litvinenko's family, describe Vladimir Putin as a guy who tried to silence this double agent because Litvinenko threatened to expose Putin and his ties to the Russian mafia. The agent fled to Britain in 2000, where he was granted asylum because he was being prosecuted in Russia. Now, Litvinenko's family says that he was working for the British spy agency MI6 and MI5, and he was also helping the Spanish government investigate the Russian mafia. But Litvinenko died 3 weeks after meeting with two of his ex-KGB contacts at a London hotel. He is believed to have been poisoned, as you mentioned, Steve, with that radioactive cup of tea that was spiked with a deadlier nuclear isotope, polonium-210. Now, in 2007, British prosecutors charged those two former Russian spies with Litvinenko's murder, but Russia has denied involvement in the poisoning, and also Moscow has blocked any attempt to extradite those two men, one of them now serving in the Russian Duma. Now, the international crisis severely damaged relations between the two countries, with both Britain and Russia expelling diplomats. However, the case appeared to die down a bit, and in 2013, London decided not to hold one of these inquiries to avoid some further issues with Moscow. Now, Litvinenko's widow, Marina, she's appealed that decision, and with international tides now turning against Russia, Britain decided to reopen the investigation.
And last year I decided maybe inquest is the only way to receive all truth. What happened here in London and what happened with my husband. I would like to know who killed him and why.
All right, now Marina Litvinenko may finally have answers, but she says her husband Alexander knew all along who was to blame, and he told those investigators, the British investigators have also said that they were 100% sure of who administered the poison, where and how, but they had been holding this back for at this point in time when they felt like they could apply some pressure. And on his deathbed, Litvinenko released this statement where he calls Vladimir Putin barbaric, ruthless, and again blames the Russian president for his poisoning. Now, this public inquiry, it will feature hearings over the next several months. It will be the first time the public will get to hear from the Metropolitan Police in London about this case. But also, even if nothing comes out of this, we know that those two suspects are being protected by Moscow. But this also provides the British government an opportunity to publicly embarrass Vladimir Putin with these details, these sordid details of his alleged involvement with the Russian mafia. Steve?
Yeah, no, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, if you were a betting man, what are the odds that this will ever be a case that's that goes to court and gets solved, and that these men will ever be extradited? I mean, I would probably say about 0%, right?
Yeah, at least one of the guys, one of the suspects, the former KGB agent, I mentioned, is a member of the Russian Duma. He actually has diplomatic immunity, so he won't be prosecuted. But again, there's really a lot more to this here, Steve. We know Vladimir Putin, some would say kind of on the ropes a little bit with the current situation, the economics of all this. This is just another kind of power that I believe that the UK is now using to, if nothing else, just publicly embarrass this leader. And you think back to those G8 summits all those years ago, where you saw guys like Vladimir Putin and Silvio Berlusconi, the former Prime Minister of Italy,
yeah,
in these public settings. These are who our American president has to deal with from time to time. Of Italy, yeah, they have to deal with these guys from time to time. But Berlusconi obviously embarrassed. This might be another embarrassment for another one of those the leaders of one of these giant economies, Vladimir Putin. But no charges, I don't think, are expected, Steve, but certainly very interesting to hear the details and to see how Vladimir Putin is tied to the Russian mafia.
Yep, John, thank you very much. Always great to talk to you. John Bachman, ladies and gentlemen, great report. And folks, we have to realize that in the real world, real life is just as full of spies and and the everyday kind of thing we see on television and see in all kinds of movies, and and it's not funny. I mean, the guy died; he was poisoned. In all likelihood, it was a setup and was done on purpose, but we may never know. Closing bells next.